Okay, let's continue. Brought my journal this time so this video can be a little bit more scripted, but this video is basically just going to be a little bit of a deep dive into more of the whole God, what is reality, a little bit of my path, what I've done, just a little bit more into that aspect of everything. So yeah, this is all that I've come to see after my years of looking into what God is, what is reality, what are we doing here, what are we really, what is this, what is existence, why does it even exist in the first place? So I'll start a little bit with my background. I was born in Adelaide. I was baptized, which I am very thankful for, because I believe that the intention, and I'm thankful for Christians, man, thank you Christians, for the intent of the baptism. It's just like, the baptism is asking God to guide the child. And I don't know, ever since I was young, I feel like maybe that's had some type of impact on me that I'm not really even aware of, because I was thinking before, like, I've always felt like I wanted to do the right thing, or I've always felt more drawn to wanting to be good natured. So I wonder, does this baptism have anything to do with it? But anyway, I digress. Started with the baptism, went to a Catholic school, both through all my schooling years I was at a Catholic school, so I understood the Bible, the stories of the Bible. That was my connection to God back then. And when I was younger, I remember believing in God, but there were just some things about the Bible which didn't really rub me in the right way. For example, when God asks Abraham to kill his son Isaac, it's just like, I was like, why would a God, an all-loving God, want to test one of his, it's like you testing one of your children to such a severe extent that it doesn't need to be like that. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And also with Job, when God and the devil are having a discussion, and the devil's like, oh, well, he only likes you because you give him everything. And then God's like, yeah, bet, all right, take everything from him. It's like, why would you do that to a being that loves you, to a being that trusts you? It's like, yeah, you can argue like, oh, maybe it was his karma, or maybe I don't know, you could say like, oh, he got so much more later on, but it's just like, you killed his family, bro. Like his family is dead, man. So I was just like, these type of things, it never really sat well with me. But the one that was the final nail in the coffin, where I was like, I can't align with this, was the concept of eternal hell. It's just like, do you really think in our finite human life, in the vastness of all of creation, that us living one life of sin would equate to eternal hell? It just doesn't make sense logically if you are a God to want to create a being and try to guide them, and then they fall and they slip and they make mistakes, and you send them to eternal punishment instead of trying to guide them out of that slowly. It's eternity. Why would you send them there for eternity? So yeah, that was me done. I like aspects of Christianity, and I think Jesus is goated and one of the best examples of virtue that we can live towards and strive to be. So I always have respect for the teachings of Jesus, and if you are a Christian and you focus on the teachings of Jesus and you aspire to be like Jesus, perfect, that's amazing. But I think the narrative has just been twisted through the ages, and there's just been certain aspects which it doesn't feel like an all-encompassing loving God. And I think there's been layers stripped back, or layers lost, of what true spirituality is within Christianity. But as I said, if you follow Jesus, that's all you need to do, really. Just be like Jesus, you'll be sweet. So yeah, after that, I didn't really have anything to turn to because I was still quite young. So I was on the internet, so obviously you fall into atheism because it's just like, I don't believe that. And then you fall into the whole notion of, oh, there's so much suffering in the world. Like, how would God allow so much suffering to happen? So I fell into atheism for maybe 1 or 2 years. But then it struck me, I was like, wait a second, like, what if free will was the answer to that? What if all of these things that are created, all of this suffering, is an answer to free will? And then people would say, oh, what about natural disasters or things where people lived good, virtuous lives and they suddenly have a catastrophe happen? And then that could be answered with the concept of karma. So the concept of, many lifetimes. We don't just live as this one lifetime and that's it. It's like, no, we've lived many lifetimes through many different life forms. And perhaps in a previous life, we had done something which had only allowed us to take a next life to the extent in which we must be killed or harmed or have something happen to us in that next life that we're about to embark on. So then I became more of an agnostic, just basically saying, look, I don't know, man. But there was nothing really guiding me, so I was more just like impersonal. I didn't really understand if God was a personality or what was going on. I was like, maybe just God is everything that exists, so we are God also, but it's just like, it's just an impersonal force. It's just something that can't be explained. It's just something that runs. But then after some time, I bumped into some Hare Krishnas, some Vaishnavas, which is a sect of Hinduism, basically. And I really liked them. I really liked their philosophy, the concepts of karma and the concepts of reincarnation and the concepts of a layered existence, how there's like more of like spiritual worlds and then like more matter dense worlds and then like hellish worlds. I was like, you know what, that would make sense. Like if you were a god and you wanted to split off consciousness and create consciousness and put it into something, you would want to do something like that. You would want to have it a bit more layered. So I was just like, maybe these guys are onto something. So I spent a lot of time with them. I didn't fully agree with their philosophy 100% all of the time, but I did get a lot from them. And, their path was very much like, chanting meditation and doing service for others and trying to be in the mood of helping others, basically. So I got a lot out of just being in that energy. It was absolutely fantastic, and I appreciate them a lot, even though I don't agree with their philosophy 100%. There's only like slight nuances in which I don't agree. For example, the Hare Krishnas specifically, other Vaishnavas don't believe this, but the Hare Krishnas believed that you could never merge back into God. You could never become one with the Creator ever again. And I was just like, well, if God is all that is, and it is consciousness that is fundamental, it's like, why wouldn't you ever be able to re-merge back in? If God was able to split and create consciousness, why would God not be able to absorb the consciousness back? And why would God not give a soul that option? Like, it doesn't make sense for God to just be like, nope, you're separate now for all of eternity and there's nothing I can do for you and you can never get back. I was just like, if people really wanted to merge back into God, like, why wouldn't they be able to? And who is God to deny them? Because they are God in themselves, if they are from God. So that I was just like, no. Another concept that never really sat with me either was the concept of Kali Yuga. They believe that we are in an age of degradation, and it's something like there's only like 1/4 good and 3/4 bad that will happen in this world, and it's slowly going to decay more and more and more. And hey, it looks real. It looks very true with what is happening right now with the state of the world. It looks like we are in Kali Yuga 100%, all the symptoms that they wrote down, everything that they said. But where I disagree is that why would we believe and why would we align with a fact that it's only going to get worse? Why would we want to believe that? It's like, yes, we should focus on our own spiritual path, and yes, we should try to become better individuals ourselves, but why wouldn't we try to also uplift the world and do everything that we could to make this world as good as possible? Why would we just surrender and just say, oh, it's Kali Yuga, let's just see, it just is what it is. I don't know, man, we just gotta accept it. It's like, no, I don't like that. I think we should still work and try and do what we should do to try and correct it. And also, the Rasa Leela, there is something within the Bhagavatam, which is basically like I guess it's like their Bible or their Quran, kind of. It's a text that's like very revered to the Hare Krishnas. And within that, the personality of God, Krishna, plays his flute in the forest. And then by playing his flute, he attracts married women into the forest with him to have intimate moments. And it's just like, why would a god do that with his creation? And they, like, to have its creation move away from the duty of and the honor that comes with a marriage, and move into the forest to have intimate moments with a god just because it feels like so good, and it's just like, oh, it's divine ecstasy. It's like, why did you tell the story in that way? And why would you not wait until after their life where the marriage is over? Like, why would you put beings who are in a marriage to come to a forest to where spiritual teachers are saying, oh, these are lustful activities? It's like, what? Why would a god do that? Why would a god break a sacred oath that two humans have between one another? Like, marriage is a sacred spiritual oath that should be uplifted. And people will say like, oh no, you're just misinterpreting it the wrong way. It's like, it's not actually meant to be like, they're in the forest doing things, but it's like, that's what it's alluded to. And then they'll say like, oh, it's actually just like an allegory. It's like you're supposed to like leave your material duties behind and go find God. It's like, you really couldn't have thought of any better way to say that. Did you really need to say that in this manner, where wives and have to leave their houses and go to the forest to have intimate moments? Why did you need to write it like that, even when like husbands are just like, oh wait, don't leave, like come back? It's like, what? Come on, bro. And then yeah, so I like them 100%. I think most of their philosophy is awesome, but I just have slight disagreements, and that's fine. Overall, I really like Christians, and I really like Vaishnavas. I think Vaishnavas have a little bit more of an edge and a bit more of a spiritual understanding holistically. But Christians who follow Jesus, awesome. Vaishnavas who are just true to their path and are in service, awesome. I have no quarrels with them. It's just a slight philosophical difference. I also dabbled a bit into the occult and looked into their philosophy and saw what they were up to. Don't agree with them at all. They are in too deep. Like, they are powerful beings, and they can, they understand the fabrics of reality and how to manipulate things and how to get power and stuff like that. But it's just like they do so in a manner which is just like, you have to, it's like you do so at a cost to others, and it's just like, that's not okay. And the karmic implications of that is just like, it's only going to affect you in the long run, and like, you're the one who's going to suffer from this ultimately, from bringing suffering to others for your own benefit in this life. You think you think that you're gonna be sweet in the next life and nothing's gonna happen. It's like, no, there are forces within the universe that need you to be corrected, because we don't want you just running amok doing whatever to whatever beings. It's just like, no way a god would allow that. Why would a god allow complete chaos like that? So I see the occult, I see what you're doing, I understand it, but I just completely don't agree with it, and I think it's going to damage you in the long run. And I also dabbled a bit more into the science of things like quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and a really interesting individual, Tom Campbell, who had his big theory of everything. He did a lot of work with like out-of-body experiences and seeing what was out there in like the mental realm, and trying to explore and trying to figure out, can you use science to figure out what consciousness is and what reality is? And he came to some similar conclusions that, the Vaishnavas did. And like, we are all like one of God, and God is like one big system, and we just exist in eternity, and consciousness is fundamental. So it was all very interesting to tie it all together. So now I'll just like leave you with some of my thoughts from all of my path. I do believe that consciousness is the fundamental. It's not matter that is fundamental. I believe that this is just a tiny fraction of existence, as we obviously know with the vastness of space. But I think the vastness of space is also encapsulated within a multiverse, and then within the multiverse, that's within the physical realm, and then there's layers beyond that where there's spiritual realms, and the spiritual realms also have layers, kind of like a heaven or something you could call it, I guess. I believe that God exists just because of how much fine-tuning is required for a universe like this to exist. Obviously, you can't say it with 100% certainty that God exists, but the rate of expansion, the nuclear force of the atoms, it's just like everything is so finely tuned that if it was even off, like the most minuscule amount, I think it's like 1 in 10 to the power of 120 or something ridiculous like that. It's like, if it was even off by like that much, life as we know it just doesn't exist. So that to me points to that there has to be some type of intelligent designer, surely, or that this is just the most crazy random occurrence, unfathomably, like the mathematical probability of that occurring randomly is just so astronomically small that it's just like, I lean more towards that there has to be an intelligence designer. And as I said before, another thought that I had, well, belief that I have, is that reality is layered. It's kind of like Inception, I believe. It's like we live within dreams, so now we're kind of like in a middle physical realm on Earth. So it's like, it could obviously be a lot worse, where it could be a lot hellish, but it could obviously be a lot better, where it's a lot more heavenly within the material realm. But these are only one layers. So like when you wake up within this, well, basically when you die is when you wake up and you ascend to another layer. And it's just like, to gain enlightenment, you continuously wake up within the dream until you're basically like right at God, like facing God with a personal relationship, or you merge into God. That would be like the highest force that you could get into, I believe. And you know, there's just lots of layers in between that. And yeah, I think I should probably create like my own type of religion or way of life. I'm thinking about calling it Logosism, as just like something that people can follow, something that people can look up to, because I want to be very honorable and virtuous. And I feel like if I can just dilute that truth of all that I've learned, and also hold it with integrity, and inspire men, and inspire not just men, women too, inspire everyone to live within what I am thinking. And I'll line it out all later of what I think this Logosism should be. It's not going to be like a woo-woo science. It's not going to be new age or anything. It's going to be like logic-based, for sure. Basically entailing things that I've already spoken about, but more structured, and also, you know, practical steps that people can take to reach clearer states of mind, what you need to do, what I believe you need to do to ascend. So yeah, I think I'll just leave you with this and I'll end the video. It's that no matter what you believe in, no matter what religion you align with, I think the most simple, it's so simple, and it's been in front of us the whole time. The only thing that you need to do in order, I've been looking at myself this whole time, but I've just realized the camera's over here. The only thing that you need to do to align with the highest is to move in and purify yourself, move into the energy of love, basically. That's all it is. You need to become more loving, more compassionate, and more virtuous. And as you do so, your life will just become better and better. And as more people become like this, the planet will become better and better. Obviously, some people won't want to be like that, but as more people become virtuous and more virtuous, it's like we'll have a better fortress to like really uphold this virtuous nature. And it's like, not only that, it's like whatever religion you believe in, if you focus in and you channel in on becoming love and trying to become virtuous and trying to become the best possible version of the being that you can be, walking your own path, it's like you're going to ascend. Because why would God not allow you to ascend if you're becoming more loving and more virtuous? It's like, is there anything else that you really need to do? You know, some specific religions say you need to do this or you need to do that in order to ascend, but it's just like, no, all you need to do is you need to become better. You need to become loving. You need to become compassionate. You need to become virtuous. And then through that, I can't see a possible reality where God would see a being becoming more compassionate and just be like, oh no, sorry, you can't come up to these spiritual realms. You can't have a life of bliss amongst us enlightened beings. Like, no, it has to be that. That's what I've logically deduced anyway. So that's kind of the overarching theme of what Logosism will be all about. It's really simple. It's just become love, basically, if you can put it into 2 words. So yeah, that's a little bit of all that. I'll leave you with that for now. And I'll continue making videos, and I'll continue expanding on what Logosism is. I'll continue, you know, going into the more of the finer details of all the things that I've done. And my understanding of God, of God.